sometimes, you know what I mean? You can't be crying in front of everybody in prison, you know what I mean? So at nights while I'm in my bunk, man, I'm thinking about my little homeboy, and I'm thinking like, damn, man, like, I can just imagine what he's going through, hearing that his father passed and that he can't go to the funeral, you know what I mean? He can't see his people one last time. He can't give his father a kiss goodbye. And, you know, he's having to go through that, man, you know what I mean? Because somebody who said they loved him, which is me, you know what I mean? I told him I loved him, you know what I mean? And I told him that I cared about him. I was willing to lead him down the wrong way, you know what I mean? And that's the kind of insight that I want to give to people today, you know, is that if you're somebody that's, you know, that's traveling down that wrong road, or you know somebody who is traveling down the wrong road that can lead them to prison, just know, man, that there's no funerals for you, you know what I mean? Especially if you got an aggravated case like we had, you know what I mean? There is no funeral for you. You can't go see your people. If you die behind the prison walls, your people can't come see you. You're gonna be buried on the state property, you know what I mean? So your people will never get a chance to kiss you goodbye and to give you flowers. And you know, and vice versa. You can't kiss your people goodbye. You can't give them their flowers, and you can't, you know, you can't wish them well, you know what I mean? You can't say goodbye to them, you know what I mean, before they head off to the final resting place, you know what I mean? And even if you're not, you know, headed down that road, you know what I mean, just I know people like to get that insight on what goes on behind those prison walls, you know what I mean? Well, you know, fast forward to about a week later, like I said, I was crying, I was going through, you know, a slight depression for a whole week. I get a letter, you know what I mean, and it's from that individual, you know what I mean, my little bro. And he writes me, man, and you know, in the letter he tells me, man, he goes, look, man, he goes, yes, I'm going through it. Yes, I'm depressed. He's like, but man, he goes, I want to let you know right now, I don't blame you one bit for anything that transpired. He goes, I'm a grown man. I was a grown man at the time. I chose to make my own decisions, and I'm facing the consequences for it now. He's like, but not now or ever, man, will I ever think of you less than my brother. He goes, I love you to the end of the world, man. He goes, and let's just continue doing what we got to do to make sure that we get out of this place, man, and make sure that we don't ever come back. You know what I mean? And I'm fortunate for that, you know what I mean? Because there's not a lot of people who would be willing to forgive somebody, man, who led them down that wrong path, especially when they were never introduced to it in the first place, you know what I mean? And I want to give a shout out, man, not a shout out, but, you know, I want to give a warning, man, and a word of advice to anybody out there who has any kind of influence, or you're a leader of any sort, man. You out here in this street life, you know what I mean? You out here doing whatever it is that you're doing in the streets. I'm not going to judge you, condemn you, no, none of that, man, but just know that those who follow your example, man, we're gonna follow your example, man, to the ends of the earth, you know what I mean? And that road can be very painful, man. It can be very painful. It can be very lonely. It can be, you know, you can be neglected. You can be abandoned, you know what I mean? I know, for example, for me and for my little bro, man, wasn't nobody there for us, man, while we're in prison except for, you know, a handful of family members, and that was it, you know what I mean? And we were abandoned, you know what I mean, and forgotten by the people that we lived that street life with, and that, you know, called us homeboys and called us bro, you know what I mean? So, you know, I did then and I do now take full responsibility for anything that I've ever done and that I ever will do, you know what I mean? And that's the whole point of Prison Reform TV, is to give people, you know, insight into those experiences, man. And if you're somebody who comes across this page, you know what I mean, and you're living that lifestyle of whatever, you know what I mean, that can potentially lead you to incarceration or to death, just know, man, that it's a very painful road, man, and more people than you are going to be affected by it. Your loved ones do time with you, and sometimes your loved ones die with you, man, when you die, you know what I mean? Sometimes they never recuperate, and they're never fully the same, you know what I mean? So, yeah, man, that's my whole motivation behind Prison Reform TV. I hope y'all enjoyed this video. Young Blacks, checking out, man. Y'all subscribe to this YouTube channel. Y'all hit that bell. Y'all go ahead and subscribe to my other YouTube channel called Young Blacks TV. And y'all also go follow me, man, on Instagram at Young Blacks HTX. YUNGBLAX HTX. And y'all stay tuned and up to date with any future events, man, and concerts and music coming out. Young Blacks, man. Much love, peace, and happiness.